And today I'm stitching in the strap handles that are going to go on the main bag. So these are the straps. They're double-sided, so they're actually two thinner layers of vegetable tan leather that have been kind of glued to each other. And now I'm stitching them in. And these are going to be what's going on to the main bag, which I'll show you now. So they attach, as you can see, to the brass buckles there. So a much simpler, more casual strap, more casual handle, should I say, than some that I've been making in the masterclass previously for travel bags, for handbags and things like that. So just on Bank Holiday Monday, doing a little stitching in the evening, grabbing a few minutes. Had most of the day off, which was nice. So just finishing up some stitching. Thought I'd go live and say hi to you guys. Anybody joining into the live, feel free to chat, ask any questions, any leathercraft based questions. So I have made holes in the leather already with my pricking iron, but because the leather is quite firm and it's glued with a firming glue, which is PVA glue, firms leather up a little bit, it's a little challenging to push the needles through without really kind of pinching with my fingers to get some grip. So for an easier time, and also finding the little slits in this dark Havana leather, I'm just using a round awl, and I can see on the other side where the round awl comes out. Gives my eyes something to aim for as I put my first left needle through there. It just makes stitching a little bit simpler. Adds a step, but overall saves time for me anyway. Hey guys. It's been a warm one today. So I am sweating a bit in these overalls. I should have done my hair so I don't have to wear a hat. It's not too 26 degrees in here. It's not hot, but caught on there. And the reason I'm stitching this in is obviously I've got two layers glued to each other, and because it's especially going through a buckle and that kind of thing, if you don't stitch, you can get some separation over the years, depending on how much movement and use it gets, of course. But it's always a good idea just to stitch these kind of handles going through buckles. You could alternatively make it from just one solid piece. So you could take a piece maybe a little thicker than this, is what, 2.5, 2.8 millimeters. Take a piece 3 millimeters thick of just solid leather, as long as it has a finished back or a finished flesh side. Just wow, skillful, teach me sensei. Yeah, that is what I do. Welcome in. Thanks for saying hi. Yeah, so you could easily make this from solid leather. For me personally, I think the look of the strap handles going into the bag looks a little bit more consistent when they're stitched, because the buckles themselves are attached to these straps here, which transfer the stress down to the base of the bag. And as you can see, they are also stitched like this. So when the handle goes into the buckle, goes underneath the second hole there and comes down, it kind of almost disappears into the straps that are stitched directly to the bag. So it kind of, the design flows a little bit better than just blank stitching. But if that doesn't bother you, or if you were using dark brown thread on dark brown leather and you couldn't really see the stitches anyway, I don't think it would look too bad if you didn't stitch your handles. And although I have one hole, as you can see here, for the buckle, that's just a personal choice. The idea of these is you can adjust the height. And there are times, and I mentioned this on the live yesterday, where, you know, sometimes, I don't know, you're going through the airport, getting out of a taxi, going in somewhere, you take your jacket off, or you have an umbrella with you, and you kind of stuff your jacket between the bag handles. You can extend them up so you can actually carry loads in between the handles if you wanted to. But normally, if the handle is too low, the drop is not enough. You can't really do that. That's just one example. But you could take the handles off, and you could make much longer handles to go over your shoulder, for example, if you wanted to do something like that, which would be interesting. The possibilities are endless. And of course, it makes the handles replaceable. And one of the first things to go on a bag, and we do make sure we have the best design possible, of course, when making bags, but handles are very often the thing that goes the first. Structurally, not necessarily cosmetically, you know, corners of bags and things like that usually take the brunt of wear and tear cosmetically, but functionally, handles are very common repair and replacement item. And on a design like this, it's a very simple handle and can be replaced literally in seconds without any compromise to the bag whatsoever. So interesting design, something different. And anybody who's a bit more advanced and wants to do, you know, the lancet rolled handle, which is a more advanced handle, you can do this absolutely. So you don't have to follow the instructions, but this is just for people that want something a little bit more simpler and in many ways faster to make. You know, especially if you just cut a strip of thick hide, thick vegetable tan leather, finish the ends, burnish the edges, punch a couple of holes in there, and, you know, within 10 or 15 minutes, you got two handles. Very simple. Hello, Able Nick. Says hi. Is that a roundel? Yes, yeah. It's just to aid my stitching. This is 2.8 millimeter vegetable tan leather. I can push a needle through there if I can find the hole. It's just a lot of resistance, especially when you get to the knot here, and it just makes, it wears the fingers out because you've got to squeeze a little bit harder to push through. Plus, they're difficult to see. And this is the side the pricking iron went in, so I can very easily just place it there, and it just falls into place. Just opens up the hole a little bit, and I can see now where I can aim. So it saves my fingers and speeds up the process of stitching just a little bit. Do I do this by request? No, this is literally just to teach a course on bag making. When I've finished, I usually keep these in storage. I don't sell them or anything like that. I kind of keep it like a portfolio of what I've built before. Hi, Jack. Jack says, hello again. I have neck and back nerve damage. So much I lose grip strength and can't look down much. What advice do you have for good ergonomics and tool adjustments for folks like me? I'm a beginner. I'm very sorry to hear that. I myself am going through a little bit of nerve impingement in my back. If I look up and to the left, I can feel the nerve twinging down to my middle finger. It's just from a subluxated rib. For me, one of the best things that I own is one of the. It looks like almost like weirdly, it's like a reverse bra almost. It's this thing you put on and it pulls your shoulders back, and you can tighten it. And the tighter you go, the more it pulls your shoulders back. So that when I'm doing stuff like this, I haven't been wearing it lately because it's improved a lot, and I'm doing having a lot of massage done on it, which is helping as well. That is something that I recommend wearing when you're doing something that could compromise your posture and cause more damage. Another one that I would recommend that has made the biggest difference to back, neck, and shoulder issues is making sure that I sleep on my back with my arms by my side. That probably single-handedly made by far the biggest difference to any shoulder injury that I have here, and what I was just talking about in my neck. Just allows a neutral position to sleep in overnight. I've always been a side sleeper, and anytime that I get shoulder, back, or neck issues, it kind of makes it even worse. So hopefully that's better. Well, hopefully that's useful information is what I meant to say. But when it comes to stitching, yeah, make sure you're always in a comfortable position. If the work you've got is too low down, make sure you either bring your feet apart and come down to the work, or bring it up and back towards you. So start in a comfortable position, but one that's practical as well, and making sure that it's not too low down and you're doing this for ages, and then you get up. If you're feeling stiff after what you're doing, whether it's cutting or skiving or stitching, then you're compromising your posture and your position. It's difficult because I like to kind of keep my head down and look at what I'm doing. It's one of the reasons why I have such a high desk, which is elbow height. It's so that I don't put too much pressure on my neck and back. Mm-hmm. That high strength fish oils and collagen peptides. That collagen made a difference, actually. So next up in the build for this bag, either length of the zip, there's going to be a piece of leather reinforcement, because around the perimeter of the gusset we have, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. We have, I was about to say piping then, binding going around the perimeter. So this is a binding, and the binding finishes in the center there. You can kind of see it right there. So we'll have a piece of leather going over each end, so it will kind of cover up that transition. Let's put it over here. So that's next, and one of the ends is going to have a D-ring. And my goal on this is to see if I can. Do we have one here? Yeah. What I'm doing is I'm going to be taking one of these locks and I'll be wrapping them in leather. And when you close the zip, there's a D-ring there. You'll be able to lock your bag closed, because the idea is it's a travel bag. And instead of using a kind of a jewelry kind of lock, which are a bit, what's the word, janky? I don't know if that's the word. Kind of like cheap fit. They're usually made of like zinc, magnesium alloy, and that kind of thing, or just brass alone. I'm actually using a Spear & Jackson lock for this one. They're not terribly expensive, but they're designed for proper use. You'd still cut through them with bolt cutters, of course, but probably not your average handheld pliers. But wrapping that, because it's a solid brass body with a hardened tool steel chrome plated bolt on there, gives a bit more of a functional lock, I find. And easy for people to get. So that will be also coming up in the course. And I haven't announced this yet, but I'm planning on doing an add-on to the course where I will be adding umbrella holders to these handles as an option that people can do. One thing I've always wanted to have is a bag that also has an umbrella holder. Although it doesn't seem like it, the amount of times that I've actually gone out expecting it to rain with a bag, maybe I'm traveling somewhere, going up to London, going on vacation, going through the airport, whatever, and I'm predicting, you know, there might be rain or a walk involved, so I carry an umbrella with me. I don't like those little tiny little telescopic umbrellas that, you know, after a rainstorm you always see like bins in the street full of them because they're so useless usually. I take a full-size umbrella, wood shaft, wood handle umbrella, something a bit more classic. And if you put them between the handles, they move around a lot and they slide forwards and they slide backwards. So you kind of got to hold it in one hand and your bag in the other. So I wanted to create an add-on to this that could be added or removed, which will hold onto an umbrella. You know, living in Britain, doesn't rain a lot, strangely enough. It just rains often, little and often. You know, just enough to keep you depressed. That's the idea of it. So we rarely have proper thunderstorms. Like months will go by, even in the winter. There's no proper thunderstorm, torrential rain, or anything like that. It's just drizzle, you know, one day and then nothing the next, and then drizzle again. We don't even make it into the top 10 in the world for rain. But there's always that fine rain, the rain that really soaks in and gets you wet. Yeah, that's what we got, unfortunately. You know, the Chinese torture of weather. Death of 1,000 droplets. So yeah, umbrella holder. That's what I want to add to this. And one thing that I did want to add to this, but I haven't got round to putting it into the design, unfortunately, because it's a bit of a challenge, is some kind of hidden pocket that's difficult to access, some kind of hidden area. But it just, the ideas that I had just weren't practical for this course, where you can put in like a smart tag or a, what's the Apple tag? Is it just called Apple tag? Can't remember. Anyway, you know, the one where you can, the little trackers that you can buy. I went through an airport recently in Morocco, and coming home, I had it in one of the pockets. I had a tag, and they put it through the machine, took it out, found the tag, put the bag back in the machine, and then put the tag through another box separately that went through. So I got my bag out the other end, and then I saw this like kind of square looking black thing. I'm thinking, what the hell is that? I didn't realize, and they didn't tell me. They'd taken my tag out. So the last geolocation was someone's house in Morocco. Really weird. So I just kept making the alarm go off. But yeah, I wanted something that's really difficult to access that they couldn't get to, so they'd have to ask me to remove it. And that way, at least I'd know that they'd removed it and I need to pick it up again. But yeah, it's couldn't quite find on the glue-in lining a place to add a smart tag. Doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just, but it wasn't in keeping with the simplicity of the design. Barry Skeet says, hi, silly question. It's the best kind of question. When do you know when to replace the sewing needles? I've been using the same 2 for ages, but wondering if I should replace them soon. No. They become seasoned. They take on a bendy patina, a story of their own. I don't know. These are probably about, maybe not quite 10 years, but something like that. Nah, they're all bent slightly. They just last, right? Actually made of a very tough steel. If you can still stitch with them, there's no need to change them. There's no real life. If you damage the eye somehow, or you really damage it, you step on it, or I don't know, drop something on it, then sure. But if it lasts your entire career, keep using it. So no, you don't need to change them, unless they're so bent that you're struggling to stitch. But it's a slight bend or kink in them. It makes no real difference to stitching performance in my mind. Some of my needles are so crooked, but I don't have the heart to bend them. No. No, no, no. Sorry to hear about your neck shoulder issues. I'm a side sleeper and have sleep apnea, so it's a struggle for sure. My dominant thumb stops working when my neck is out of alignment. Yeah, it's crazy how that works. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sleep apnea. I guess that might stop you sleeping on your back. One other option is kind of sleeping on your back, but in a mildly elevated position. I mean, it's not exactly cozy, is it? But that might take some of the strain off a little bit, and still not have issues with the apnea. But yeah, side sleeping. Anytime I have a dodgy shoulder, I wake up the next day and it's always worse. And it just makes it last a lot longer. Now I've kind of got used to sleeping on my back, and it's like magic. Like 80% of the issue is gone just for one night of sleeping on my back. What size thread are you using, says Adam? Fil Chinois 432, which is going to be about 0.5 millimeter, 0.5. Barry says, cheers, no worries. So coming to the end now, I should be able to finish this on one piece of thread. And I'm going to be finishing up the second piece as well. And what I'll do is, on my next live, I will add the handles. They're stiff, first of all, and they need to kind of conform a little bit, if you know what I mean. They don't necessarily want to bend into a nice, pleasing shape. But once you start using them, and you've got a bit of weight in your bag, yeah, it makes all the difference, and it starts to hang a little bit better. What's going on here? There we go. I'm going to move this up a little bit. And around the end, I've cut this with a English point strap cutter. Mostly what I use, very simple. You can have it squared off. You can have it rounded. Doesn't really make a lot of difference, to be honest. I just like using an English point because it's a bit more traditional and it's got English in the name. It's always a bonus, really. It's kind of a church window design. Can't remember where I got it, actually. It's by a company called Ivan. think they're from East Asia, I think. Come around to the other side. Stitch this last little bit in. And a couple more. And coming back around to our original hole, and do a double cast. Get it almost pulled in. And then I'm going to add a little dab of white glue there onto the thread. So as we pull in that double cast, which is like 2 overhand knots, they knot into each other with glue on them. I'll do the same with that last stitch, just tuck it in there. You'd be surprised how tenacious a little dab of white glue on the thread is if you need to undo your stitching even a few minutes afterwards. It's really hard to get it out. I'm going to cut the excess there. Rear side there. I've been stitching this with without a cast, so on one side the stitch is straight on the rear side. On the front side there's a bit more of a like an angle to it. But that means where I transition the stitches, I usually finish with a double cast and then transition the other. It does mean that there are times where there's a little bit of a pattern interruption that you can see. So it just needs a little manipulation with an awl. And now, this table needs resanding actually. So I'm going to use a little bit of kitchen towel down on there. Sounds like your cough is cleared up. Yeah, it's just yeah. Cold lasted 24 hours. The chest infection lasted 2 weeks. That was a bit of a pain. Life's been a bit full on recently. It's been quite stressful, and every time I find myself a bit more stressed than normal, I get ill, and it lasts for ages. It's so annoying, but it is what it is. Right, let's manipulate that a little bit more. Sometimes if you're not pleased with how a particular stitch is laying, if you can manipulate it slightly with an awl and then tap it down, that tap down usually just keeps it in the position. Microphone is working as well. Yeah. I remembered to switch it on today. That usually makes a microphone work 100% better. Sorry for for all the noise. I would turn on the noise cancelling function, but it sounds like I'm talking to you from inside a coat pocket. It's really weirdly muffled. It does do a good job. Should we just, for shits and giggles, let's put in noise cancelling. See if you can hear a difference in how I sound. You guys still hear the tapping is loud? Sorry, guys. Okay, cool. Let's turn the noise cancelling off. All right. Okay, guys, sounds the same. The taps aren't bad. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so that is one strap. Noise cancelling, you deserve a refund. It does work for, it might identify the banging as not a noise as part of the audio. That's I have tested it out. If there's something droning, like if I turn on the fan over there with this on, you can hear the fan going, but when you put noise cancelling off, it takes it away. It's like white noise it removes and the rest is kept in. So I wouldn't say it was a negative on that part. It's probably a thinking that's part of it. But yeah, okay, so that's stitched and that's unstitched. So I've got one more to do. Probably won't do a live on that one because I've already done 2 on this now. And then I'll be giving like a demo of putting it into the bag and we can all see what it looks like. So fingers crossed it works. Yeah, it does. I've tested it out. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. As always, I always finish letting people know if they want to learn how to hand stitch, visit leathercraftmasterclass.com. Pop up, email address in, you get straight to the video where I show you how I hand stitch from different camera angles on both sides. Very nice. Thank you very much. All right, guys, appreciate the conversation as always. And I will see you in the next live, if it's not tomorrow, within the next couple of days. So keep those notifications on. And don't forget to give me a like when you finish this video. Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot. All the best.